we're living in Medina, if that's what you want. Or, I give it all to the Muhajirin, and that way they can leave your homes. Because don't forget that for the last, how many years now? We're at the beginning of the 5th year, right? So 5 years now, they've been living in their homes. The Muhajirin who came from Mecca are living inside the houses of Al-Ansar. It's been 5 years now. Of course, some of them were like, awesome, finally they can move out, even their broken homes inside, but yeah, at least it's a home, we'll help you, we'll fix it up for you so you can stay, just get out of my house. So the answer of the leaders of Ansar was as follows: قالوا لا يا رسول الله بل نختار الثالثة. No, we want the third option. فقال صلى الله عليه وسلم وما الثالثة? I only gave you two. What's the third? فقال تعطيها للمهاجرين ويبقون في ديارنا. Give it all to the Muhajirin and let them stay in our homes. They can stay living in our homes. And this is why the continuation of the surah talks about the brotherhood and the love that existed between the Muhajirin and the Ansar. In an example that I think was unprecedented. I don't think it's ever been followed. I don't think there's ever been anything so unique in history of people doing this. And I've talked about this before, that the concept of mu'akha, what he did sallallahu alaihi wasallam in asking the people of Al-Ansar, the people of Al-Aws and Al-Khazraj, tribes that are completely different, that are not related to Quraysh at all, because the people coming from Mecca are from Quraysh, all of them are Qurayshiyeen. And from a genealogy perspective, they don't meet to very, very far up, and they're very, very unrelated. How he got the Ansar to open their homes and welcome in Al-Muhajirin and their families is beyond me, to be honest. Because I got to see this. I got to actually experience it. It's really hard. It's really hard. That's why when you read the ayat, وَالَّذِينَ تَبَوَّأُوا الدَّارَ وَالْإِيمَانَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ. Right? Surah Al-Hajr, I'm just telling you ayat Surah Al-Hajr. يُحِبُّونَ مَنْ هَاجَرَ إِلَيْهِمْ. And the people who have lived in these homes before, meaning the people of Medina, were already living in their homes before the Muhajirin came. Those who had accepted Iman as well. يُحِبُّونَ مَنْ هَاجَرَ إِلَيْهِمْ. They love the people who come immigrating or migrating from Mecca towards them. وَلَا يَجِدُونَ فِي صُدُورِهِمْ حَاجَةً مِمَّا أُوتُوا. And they don't find jealousy in their hearts when the Prophet ﷺ gives them something, gives the Muhajirin something that he doesn't give to the Ansar. So the Ansar are living, and they have to have people in their houses. And finally some wealth exists. But when they leave, and they leave some land, and this land can be used and utilized by the Muslims. Finally some wealth exists, Ya Rasulullah. Who are you going to give it to? You must give it to those who have sacrificed their homes. So the Prophet ﷺ, after talking to the leaders, he gives it to the Muhajirin. Now how do the other Ansar feel about this? وَلَا يَجِدُونَ فِي صُدُورِهِمْ حَاجَةً مِمَّا أُوتُوا. They feel no jealousy. They're happy for their brothers. You were given a piece of land, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, brother, now you have some land to work in as well. And you're welcome to stay in my home. You don't find any jealousy. We all have that feeling, by the way. You have a friend, a buddy, right, you're working together with, you're going up with, and if he gets something extremely better than what you have, or he's offered like a huge advancement that you weren't offered, for a moment there, you cringe. Your heart just closes for a second. And you feel like, why didn't I get it? Or I want it too. Or I hope it doesn't work out for him, so that he can go back being exactly like me. It'll be no different. For a moment, your heart you'll hear that voice inside, that little evil voice that'll tell you to make it. And you'll be like, no, that's not nice. He's my bro, he's my friend. Alhamdulillah, I'm very happy for him. You'll try to be happy for him. You'll make that fake smile on your face, but deep inside you're not happy. No, Al-Ansar, they were happy inside. You were happy for their Muhajirin. وَلَا يَجِدُونَ فِي صُدُورِهِمْ حَاجَةً مِمَّا أُوتُوا. Because they were people who, when they followed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they followed the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they did it sincerely. If you follow Islam sincerely, every time you see a Muslim get ahead, you're happy. Why? Because we're on the same team. We're wearing the same jersey, just different numbers. Same jersey, same team. So if you're doing better, alhamdulillah, my team's getting stronger, alhamdulillah. Now if you're playing an individual sport, you want everyone around you to suck. You want everyone to be horrible. You hope that they all trip and fall so that you can win the race, because it's an individual sport. But when you're on a team, if you're a team player, you want the people on your team to be good players. You want them to do their job properly. If they don't, then the team's going to lose. Maybe you'll stand out as the best player on the losing team. But how good is that, really? That's so petty, like for you to actually want that. I want to be the best player on the team, even if the team loses. If you're a team player, then you always want your team to win. So if you're a true Muslim, the moment you see another Muslim making the headway, actually succeeding in something, you feel good, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, because he's my brother, he's on my team, we're on the same team. That takes a lot though, it takes some time. You have to adjust the way your brain works. It's actually an adjustment that you have to make. You have to sit down and reprogram your brain to see it like that. Muslims are all my brothers and sisters. The better you do, the happier I am because we're succeeding all together. I'm not jealous of you if you're doing better than me. If I'm the best player on the team, this team is doomed. If I'm the best player on this team is not going anywhere. I need better players on this team so we can win. So we can make investments. Yes?
Say like you're good at basketball and then like you were better than your friend.
Mm-hmm.
And then your friend is better than you.
Yep.
But you feel good for him but bad about yourself. Is that okay?
Yeah, but why are you feeling bad about yourself? Because you're not as good as you want to be?
No, because he just beat you even though you're way better than him.
Okay, so that's exactly that's the exact example I was making up. So you're on a team, and you're the star of the team, and then another guy comes around, and now he's a bit better than you, or he's getting a bit more attention, or he's scoring more points, or whatever he's doing. You start at that moment is when you feel bad. It's a normal human reflex, by the way. It's normal for it to feel like that. I'm not saying, oh, you felt like that, you had to be sure. No, it's normal for you to feel like that. But you have to just take a moment and just rethink things. Think about that again. Think, well, he's on my team, right? He's on your team, and he's a friend of yours. So you know what? I'm going to feel good for him. I'm going to actually be happy for him. Actually, I'm going to support him. I'm going to stand behind him and push him forward. I'm going to help him become better. If anyone tries and brings him down, I'm going to help him up. And I'm going to improve myself. It's always a way to improve yourself. Improve yourself and compete in a classy way with people. Compete, not hoping that they fail and hoping that they fall. Actually compete with them, hoping that they do good as well. So it's a bit of it takes a minute. We all have this, by the way. That's why I brought this up. It happens to everyone. It takes a minute. You have to reprogram your brain a bit. And seeing people in a different way. And seeing yourself as a part of a team. Instead of just trying to shine all the time. As important as that is. وَيُكْثِرُونَ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ وَلَوْ كَانَ بِهِمْ خَصَاصَةٌ. And they will always put others ahead of themselves or in front of themselves. They will always be selfless and put others ahead of themselves or in front of themselves, even if they are extremely poor. وَلَوْ كَانَ بِهِمْ خَصَاصَةٌ. Even if they're very poor, they'll always give others. And the Ansar proved that. They were very poor and they gave the Muhajirin everything they had. And they never said, Ya Rasulullah, well, we already have almost nothing. What do you want us to give? We have nothing left to give. They never said that. They always gave, even if they didn't have anything to give, even if they had very little. And it's hard to give when you don't have anything. Well, it's very hard. It's almost impossible. And you don't feel bad about it. It's the only time when you don't feel bad about not giving, when you don't have enough. You're like, I don't have enough, I shouldn't have to give. But the Ansar, there were many steps ahead of us. They gave, even though they didn't have enough. Sometimes they had very, very little. The ayah ends, وَمَنْ يُوقَ شُحَّ نَفْسِهِ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. Those who are protected from the selfishness that exists within themselves, those are the ones who are going to succeed. Can you protect yourselves from your selfishness? We are all selfish by nature. We are born selfish. Have you ever seen a baby? The most selfish beings on the planet. It's extremely selfish babies. We should all have we should all sit babies down and talk to them about this. Babies, very, very selfish. They couldn't care less about anything else on the planet. They don't care about anyone. They don't care about you. They don't care about their parents. They only care about themselves. Yes? What? After this. Okay. So I think there's going to be a movie and a documentary in the gym after Isha. If you guys want to join that, inshallah, everyone is welcome. So should I tell them to leave and talk to them? So it's happening now. If anyone wants to ditch me and go watch it, feel free to do it. That's an option as well. Feel free to leave and watch. But anyways, it's all, I understand that there's a discussion after the gym after Isha. If you guys want to join that, inshallah. I wasn't aware of this. SubhanAllah, it's alright. We're all selfish, and we're born selfish. And because you're selfish as a baby, you survive. It's a way for creatures to actually survive. It's one of the mechanisms of survival is being very selfish. Babies only want what they want. They don't care. They have no understanding of your personal space, of your personal time. They don't care if you're sleeping or awake. They want what they want. They want it now. And they'll scream until they get it. And they'll stay like that for many, many years. Very selfish. So it's a natural thing. But at a certain age, when you're like, maybe 10, at that point, other people start, expecting you not to be as selfish, to share. That's when you start getting the word sharing. Kids hate the word sharing. They're taught it in kindergarten, you have to share, and no one wants to share. No one wants to stand in line. They want to go snatch and take what's theirs. So as human beings, we're just naturally selfish. It takes a while for us to start to learn that it's not okay to be selfish. The best of you, the best of all of us, are those who will be the least selfish. Those are the most selfless. Those who can always put others ahead of themselves, and help others and stand by them, and not always want things for themselves. It's hard. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. But the Ansar gave this example. The ayah after Surah Al-Hajj. وَالَّذِينَ جَاءُوا مِن بَعْدِهِمْ. And then the Muhajirin who came after them, who came to Medina after them, يَقُولُون, this is what they said, رَبَّنَا اغْفِرْ لَنَا وَلِإِخْوَانِنَا الَّذِينَ سَبَقُونَا بِالْإِيمَانِ. Oh Allah, forgive us and forgive our brothers who arrived at Iman before us. وَلَا تَجْعَلْ فِي قُلُوبِنَا غِلًّا لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. And Ya Rabb, do not insert into our hearts any hatred or anything negative against another believer, against another Muslim. رَبَّنَا إِنَّكَ رَؤُوفٌ رَحِيمٌ. Oh Allah, you are the kindest, the most tender, the most merciful. So the Muhajirin, they saw the example of the Ansar, they said, MashaAllah, beautiful people. Ya Allah, forgive us, Ya Rabb. Ya Allah, forgive us and forgive them as well. And do not put in our hearts anything against each other. But I skipped a few verses in Surah Al-Hashr. If you know Surah Al-Hashr, you're like, you skipped a few, right? وَمَا أَفَاءَ اللَّهُ مَا أَفَاءَ اللَّهُ, the ones that everyone forgets and makes mistakes in. I've skipped those. Those are important. Those are an important part of the story. What happened? So the Prophet ﷺ talked about this to the leaders of the Ansar. They said, yes, so he offered it to the Muhajirin. He offered it to those who were a part of the siege and to those who were not a part of the siege. That is unheard of in Arabia. It's unheard of in the law of war. How does war work? This is how it works. If you're a warrior and you go and you participate in a battle, whatever loot or bounty is made in that battle is distributed amongst the people who participated in the battle only. People who did not participate will not get anything. Does that make sense? Makes sense, right? If you weren't there, well, you didn't get anything. You shouldn't get anything. So Islam can say, no, that's not how it works. Not how it works at all. So the Prophet said, all Muhajirin, come, you all get pieces of this land to start building houses or working in. And the Ansar and the other Muhajirin like, well, Ya Rasulullah, they weren't here. This siege has been going on for a month now. I've been standing out in the cold, freezing my head off. Yeah, I had nothing to eat, guarding, and this guy's been sleeping at home with his wife and kids, and now I have to, share this with him. وَمَا أَفَاءَ اللَّهُ عَلَى رَسُولِهِ مِنْهُمْ فَمَا أَوْجَفْتُمْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ خَيْرٍ وَلَا رِكَابٍ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يُسَلِّطُ رُسُلَهُ عَلَى مَنْ يَشَاءُ وَاللَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. I'm not going to go into too much detail because it'll take a long time, but this is what this ayah came and told the Muslims. This happened in after the Battle of Badr. I talked to you guys about Surah Al-Anfal being revealed to the Prophet ﷺ and talking about loot and bounty. It happened now again. And it's going to happen again a few more times. Because this was a social norm that everyone agreed on and were a part of. And the Prophet ﷺ, Islam came and changed it. And it was very hard to change. A lot of people weren't happy about it. They didn't like it. They shouldn't take. So the Quran came and said, look, whatever bounty you took from this little incident of Banu Nadir leaving, well, you didn't really have to do anything. You didn't have to fight. There was no bloodshed. There was no, swords didn't clash. At no point did anyone die. It was just a siege. So you didn't really do anything. That's number one. The second thing, وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يُسَلِّطُ رُسُلَهُ عَلَى مَنْ يَشَاءُ. The reason they left was fear. And that's something Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put in their hearts. So you didn't really do anything. So stop saying that we did it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who did it. وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. And He is capable of everything. The second ayah, مَا أَفَاءَ اللَّهُ عَلَى رَسُولِهِ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْقُرَى فَلِلَّهِ وَلِلرَّسُولِ وَلِذِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْيَتَامَى وَالْمَسَاكِينِ وَابْنِ السَّبِيلِ. Right? Okay. Who can continue the ayah? Yeah, go ahead. You should know. Very good. Whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala offers bounty to the Muslim, then whatever is made is going to be distributed by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's Prophet, and to those who are related to you who are poor, and to the orphans, and to the less fortunate, and to those who are stranded and can't seem to get back to where they came from, Ibn Sabil. And the reason, and this reason is like I don't know, this is to me one of the gems in the Quran. If the Quran was gold, this is crystal, right somewhere in the middle. You need to know these words. If you don't memorize Surah Al-Hashr at all, don't try to memorize the last part. Everyone knows that part. Know this part. It's way more important. كَيْ لَا يَكُونَ دُولَةً بَيْنَ الْأَغْنِيَاءِ مِنْكُمْ. So that wealth and money doesn't become limited to the wealthy only. So that wealth is not concentrated in only the wealthy, and the poor just keep on becoming more poorer and poorer, and they lose more and more, and the wealthy become more wealthy. Because if you're strong and you're a young man, and you have some money, and you stand for this deed, and you get a certain part of land, but the other guy who's sick, sitting back home, or elderly, or whatever problem, the reason he couldn't be there, he's not going to get anything at all. Now he's poor, he's more poor than he was before, and you're more wealthy. The next time that there's a battle, you're also, mashallah, very young and healthy and strong, and you go and you fight, you also get a piece of the bounty. Now you're more wealthy. The other guy who couldn't go is getting poorer, and now society is starting to, there's this disconnection. People are getting wealthier, people are getting poorer, and this is how you ruin societies. This is the backbone of Islamic financial system. The Islamic financial system, this is the number one phrase you need to remember. كَيْ لَا يَكُونَ دُولَةً بَيْنَ الْأَغْنِيَاءِ مِنْكُمْ. Whatever system exists has to exist in a way that doesn't favor the wealthy to become wealthier and the poor to become poorer. It has to be set up in a way where the poor are given the advantage to become wealthier. And we're not taking away the wealth from the wealthy. We're not turning someone wealthy into, it's not communism, we're not taking their money and throwing it on others. No, but it has to be set up in a way where you allow those who are poor, you give them the advantage. Make sure that the system is set up in a way that they can make a living and they can improve themselves in the middle class. So the bounty from now on, you'll find the same things with the Anfal. وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّمَا غَنِمْتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ فَأَنَّ لِلَّهِ خُمُسَهُ وَلِلرَّسُولِ وَلِذِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْيَتَامَى وَالْمَسَاكِينِ وَابْنِ السَّبِيلِ. This became something called al-khums. The khums is the fifth. 20% of everything that is made within Islamic financial system has to go to those who are in need. Different types of need, whatever the type of need is, whether you're just under the line of poverty, whether you're less fortunate or disabled, whatever it is, if you're in need of money, then 20% of whatever is made needs to be given to you. Did the people like it? No, they didn't like it at all. People were not happy with it. People were sitting down talking to each other. Did you hear what he said? He's saying that you have to give 20% of it. Shit. Why would they get 20%? They didn't do anything. I'm not going to give my share to some guy who's saying, that's not fair. That's not fair. We were there. We were doing the job. We have to get it. And they're talking about this. Ayah came to say, what is the word after? This is the... What came after that? Come on. This is how everyone knows this ayah. Everyone sitting here has heard this ayah used a million times. وَمَا آتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا. When the Prophet ﷺ tells you to do, you do. And when he tells you not to do, you don't do. And we use this so generally, we don't even know why it was revealed. It was revealed because people, when they were told, you have to give 20% of whatever you make from each word to those who weren't participating, because they are in need of it, they didn't like it. So the Prophet had to reinforce the idea and say, look, you have to listen. What the Prophet tells you to do, you're going to do. And when he tells you not to do, you can't do. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ and fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Quran had to bring it up a notch and say, hey, you have to do this. It's not optional. We're not saying, please, Jazakumullah khair, give these people. No, you have to do it. This is not an option. وَمَا آتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ. So when you hear that ayah used again, I always want you to remember this story. This is where this ayah was revealed, for this story. It's about money. It's about being a bit selfish. It's about allowing those who maybe didn't really participate access to some of the wealth. So maybe they remove themselves from the low socio-economic status that they're in and they get themselves up a bit. Everything you do doesn't have to always be self-serving. It can be something else. You can do it for the betterment of society and for the improvement of your own community. You can do it like that. You can offer something that you have to those who never did anything for you and probably will never do anything for you, just for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
I thought you said that they were selfish.
So not all of them, right? I'm talking about some people who thought like this. The Quran comes and talks about two different types. Some of them were saying, we're very open-hearted, they're like, yeah, give you Rasulullah. And others weren't as selfish. Selfless, they had something in their hearts. Just like every society, some people are up and some people are not. Difference. And this is the story of Bani Malik. It's a very important one in my understanding because it shows a part of how the Muslim functioned that we didn't know about. Yes, go ahead.
Did 20% go to the individual himself that was lacking the money, or did it go to like the...
So the government takes 20% and distributes it properly to those who are in need. So the different types of المساكين, الفقراء, المساكين, واليتامى, وابن السبيل, وذي القربى, all those people, this money is distributed amongst them properly. So and that's a fiqh issue that's very detailed that you can go study if you ever become the Khalifa, inshallah, you can go teach that. So Banu Nadir left, and that was a big deal. All of Arabia heard this. That what? Banu Nadir left Medina. They've been living there for centuries. They actually left. Yeah, why did they leave? Well, they tried to kill Muhammad. They've been working with Quraysh, tried to kill him. He caught them. He had a siege around them. They gave up. They took their stuff and left. They had to leave their weapons behind. So all Arabia is talking about is now, wow, this is it's something new. They've never heard this before. They never saw this coming. So some of the tribes around Medina started to feel threatened. So 4 tribes gathered themselves with the intention of coming to Medina, raiding Medina. Yes.
How much tribes?
Oh, thousands. I'm not going into details of the names because you probably get bored if I start telling you who's Bani Am and Bani Harib. It's not worth it. So just 4 tribes. But the difference between these tribes and the tribes that the Prophet ﷺ sent Abdullah ibn Unais for was the distance. You see, Khalid ibn Sufyan was way in the southern part of Arabia, around 1,000 kilometers away of Medina. So it was very far away. The Prophet ﷺ just sent one person, took care of the job, and came back. But here, these tribes were gathering right beside Medina, meaning it was only 300 kilometers away. It wasn't very far. And it was to the east, it wasn't to the south. And the Prophet ﷺ, he needed to strategize. He gathered Abu Bakr and Umar and some of the other Sahaba. He talked to them, maybe we need to take some action here. Maybe we shouldn't just keep on sending people to take care of these issues. Maybe we need to show some strength. Because I'm starting to fear that every month or so, a couple of tribes will gather and decide to come and raid us. And we're going to spend the next 10 years just fighting people off. So maybe we need to establish some strength. So they agreed. So the Prophet ﷺ gathered around 700 Muslims. The narrations will differ. This is called Ghazwat Dhat al-Riqa. If you were to ask me one day what's my favorite Ghazwa, this is my favorite Ghazwa. Down, yeah, hands down. For a number of reasons, you'll find out in a second. It's called Ghazwat Dhat al-Riqa. Some of the historians, the Muslim historians, they differ on when it happened. Some think this happened a bit later, but I'm on the opinion that it happened between Uhud and Khandaq, wallahu a'lam, because it makes more sense in terms of the reason of why it actually occurred. So the Prophet ﷺ gathered 700 Muslims, and they were going to march towards these tribes that had gathered themselves wanting to fight them. Why is it called Dhat al-Riqa? Riqa means a piece of cloth, ruqa. They would take a piece of cloth, and if you had like a hole in your shirt, then your mother would sew it on, your wife would sew it on. It's called ruqa. So riqa, it was called that riqa because basically they walked. They didn't have camels or horses, so they had to walk basically 300 kilometers in the desert, and it was a hard time of year. So there's a lot of wind. It wasn't an easy walk. They walked 300 kilometers back and forth, and most people on the way back, their shoes fell to pieces, meaning their shoes wouldn't. So they were walking barefoot on the desert sand. Now you don't want to do that for too long because your feet will start looking like hooves after a while if you do so. And actually, some of the Sahaba,